We're live. Welcome in and happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
I am having my usual Tito's, orange, and cran. Mr. Nick, tell the people what you're drinking and our three things for the show.
Well, I'm drinking my usual red Seven Oaks Cabernet as usual. Well, we have Jon Moxley winning the AEW World title in a historic fourth time. MJF and Adam Cole have returned, and the War Raiders have debuted on Monday Night Raw. It's Friday, October 18th, 2024, and this is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back in, everybody. Happy Friday. We've missed you. It's been a while. It's been a week.
It's been a week. It's always a week.
It's always a long week. But we're all working for the weekend, and we're here. And if you're new, we love having you. Welcome to the bar. Please hit the old like and subscribe. If you're a regular, we love having you back. But, Nikki, before we get into it, we got a lot to get to. As per usual. Well, so many things are going on. So we are in Nicktober, if you will, and we love our themes. So next week, we want you all to join us back here next week, obviously, for our very special Nick or Treat Halloween special with our favorite supernatural characters. We want to hear from all of you, what you like, what you want to hear, who is your favorite, all that fun stuff.
Hearts unknown.
Yes. So we are excited for next week's Nick or Treat Halloween special. Because I am, as the executive producer and director of this show.
Are we dressing up?
No, absolutely. Maybe. I don't know. You can. You can dress up. I probably won't be. I'll be dressing as myself. But nonetheless, it will be a fun themed, Halloween themed show. So we want to see you all back here next week at 6 as well. But that's next week. Let's get to this week. And we've started with our news section, and let's open it up with Nikki's news.
The music still makes me so happy. Keeping it quick, brief, because I don't know, a lot of the news that was out there this week just seemed a little still like kayfabe. Speculation and rumors and innuendos. So the only really thing I want to talk about that broke almost a week ago, it came out last Saturday that Jimmy Jey Uso, who I love, resigned from AEW. If you don't know, he was sort of creative, I don't know, booker man's not the right term, but
co-head of creative.
Yeah, so basically, like, what came out is that he was very much like kind of Tony's kind of right-hand guy, was on the road probably most out of any creative person. He was said to be at more shows than Tony himself. And he just kind of said that, you know, he got burnt out and then he's leaving. And from all reports, it was amicable, that they left on good terms, and like Jimmy just wants to go home and spend time with family. I think he was AEW creative for so long, and I think one of his more famous ones, he was very much involved in the Kevin Owens, Jericho, like that friendship celebration, that whole thing. He was very much had his hands in, and then infamously, sort of kind of got fired because he took that infamous photo with the Elite when they were kind of like invading, you know, and Cody Rhodes was playing for the other team. when they invaded Raw that one week, and Jimmy went out and took a photo with them because he knows all these friends with all of them. But basically it was pretty quick after leaving WWE that he was with AEW.
Yeah.
So I think he's just,
like a lot of other people.
Right. So I don't, want to take time to be with family, tired of being on the road. Again, everyone says it's on good terms. He's welcome to come back if he wants to. And they were kind of framing it, AEW framing it as like a creative, like kind of shakeup, something fresh, a renewal, because he was there over a year, more than a year. So maybe there was some time between WWE and AEW.
Well, that's what's kind of exciting about it to me is again, like we've talked about it, and fall of his own. I mean, from what we gathered, like you even told me prior to the show, is that he was Tony's right hand man. He had his hand in a lot of different bookings, and maybe that's for the best that you have multiple agents now working and multiple people booking, doing the creative, because there is a lot of storylines that are stale in AEW, and I'm curious to see where that goes. And we're going to talk about a couple that are coming up. This is a pretty heavy AEW themed show tonight, but I'm excited to see. I think just a new pen, a new person behind the pen.
Right about what, I don't know if it's kind of like Russell Pierce said it, and then like Fightful confirmed about who's doing what now, or you want to see that for?
Well, yeah, there you go.
So it came out, kind of who's been involved in the latest segments. RJ City has been involved in this new, I don't know, they don't have a new name yet, but this new BCC with, Mox and Marina Shafir, and that whole, we'll get to their whole big thing later in our AEW segment. But I'm really loving that, like, they have the group, or Moxley, leaving the ring and getting into a car and cutting a promo and driving away. And I think RG City has that very kind of thematic, like, mind about him. I don't know if you guys watch EW, but I find him hilarious. And he's also, and I love that kind of like how he is on that show, kind of the juxtaposition of like him helping, because Mox has such a heavy hand in this as well, but the two of them collaborating together. So like I think Moxley has a promo, and I think RJ is more like how we're going to film and how we're going to like pan in and watch you do this, and I'm going to come in and there's going to be a guy in the back of the thing. So I think that like we'll get more into this later.
Well, that's more the cinematography side.
Yeah, I think that's like, because Mox has the mind for it. I think he just stands in front of a camera and talks, like, and then RJ City can come and like, you're gonna sit here, we're gonna do this, and this is how it's gonna be shot. So I think it's a very great partnership. And then RJ City is also doing with Mariah May, him and the old, also doing stuff, the Tony Storm thing, the very thematic old Hollywood, old glam, the old cinema, So he's doing those two things. On Will Washington, who it's been more than a year at this point, but he's been doing the Swerve, like, Hurt Syndicate things. If they're gonna, I don't know if they're confirmed yet, Hurt Syndicate, but he's heavy in that. And then I think he's been also doing the he did the Adam Cole Jay White match as well, and then Sanjay Dutt is kind of like overseeing that as well.
So yeah, it's basically going to be multiple different hands working behind the scenes, which is going to be, I think, pretty nice to see on this side, because again, I think you need multiple voices, you need multiple personalities that have different ideas, and that's what makes
and I think that's the more the creative side. And I think the actual match, then you have Jerry Lynn, who's incredible, and you still have Dean Malenko, who they can like put the match, like, it's obviously it's a couple full. You have like the creative, and I guess the creative, and then you have like the people who will put the match together, and then you have the talent themselves. So it should be a collaborative effort, not like from one person like, you're gonna do this, like it's sometimes with over there with the other person used to be. So I'm hoping this is more of a collaborative effort, and won't.
Sorry.
That it does freshen this up. I hope, like, we'll get to their WrestleDream was good. I liked certain aspects of AEW this past Wednesday, but again, I think good luck to Jimmy, and I hope he gets some sleep that he needs, but it's good shakeup.
It's just like Joe Tessitore. It's gonna take a little bit of time, so hopefully we'll see.
I love Tess.
We'll see where the new booking creative goes, but we're excited to see. I think it's a lot of opportunities. So Is that your?
That's it. It was supposed to be quick, but we talked a little longer than I expected. So sorry.
So it was
Sorry about that.
this week's short version of Nikki's
Long
news.
story short, too late.
All right, and we're back in. So we move along because we're going to cover what happened at WrestleDream, but more with Dynamite and our topics that bleed into Dynamite.
You made me bleed my own blood.
So let's move in to Monday Night Raw, where we saw the re-debut.
Thank you.
Debut, re-debut. I call it debut because it's the first time anyone's hearing them in WWE under this name.
Well, not NXT kids.
Fair enough. On the main roster.
I mean, yes.
So the War Raiders debut, re-debut on Monday Night Raw. If you missed it, let's take you back. Because they didn't have a great run the first time up. So I want to know, what is it good for?
Whoa! Yeah! What is it good for? Absolutely! Whoa! Yeah! What is it good for? Absolutely!
And we are back. The War Raiders. Nikki, the War Raiders do debut in what was, I guess, kind of a glorified squash match of sorts.
I thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry, keep going.
What was somewhat of a glorified squash match of sorts with Alpha Academy? Or overall, gosh, you and your sneezing, unbelievable. So, my question is, with them picking up a victory, how do you feel about the War Raiders rebranding on the main roster?
I am here for it. No one liked Viking Experience or Viking Raid or all the Viking things that they tried to do and the Viking rules match, but no one really knew what the rules were, and it just seemed so extra. Again, like on the Indies, War Machine was so good, and I feel like they got so good in NXT, but obviously watered down and then even drowned on main. I like that they're kind of the same. It's an NXT music, but it's not so heavy on the the Viking stuff. I'm hoping that's gone. Again, Valerie Halla. She's preggers with Eric Rowan's their second child.
Eric Rowan?
No, sorry, Eric Ivar. No.
Ivar?
Eric from War Raiders.
War Raiders, yes.
Yes, they're together. Sorry, I'm confusing all my long, big bearded men together. But no, I'm excited. They're less. I don't know. Just being a big tag team that actually moves very well. Like Ivar Hansen moves incredibly well. Like when Eric was he was out. He got surgery or his knee or whatever he was doing. And then he went on this kind of small run, and he was fighting Obafemi in NXT. Kind of had more like a biker, not like I'm, here's my shield. Like I love this
one-man gang type deal.
Yeah, I love this is less gimmicky and just we're gonna wrestle.
So, I would have been excited for this a couple of years back, but now I'm a little diluted and watered down for a couple of reasons. One, you know how much I love AOP. They're booked terribly. I'd like to see these two, AOP and War Raiders, go at it. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know that the tag division is in, whether it's Triple H or whoever, is booked well when you have these big guys and these big tag teams together. Now, granted, Eric is a little bit smaller and a little bit leaner, but he's muscular and thick. But I don't think. I'm worried about how they would get booked because you usually can only have one of these tag teams, and him and these guys in AOP on the same brand is going to be interesting, and how everything kind of joins up. And I'm curious to see could they put them with is it something where maybe if Braun Strowman doesn't end up with the Wyatt Six. Could they be like a tag team that goes with Braun Strowman against the Wyatts at some point in time in the future? I don't know. I think that would be kind of interesting. I'm just curious on where they're going to go because they had, again, a couple of times. It feels like they've gotten a couple pushes multiple times over. So I just don't know where this is going to go, or they're going to get lost back in the tag team shuffle on Monday Night Raw.
I'm going to disagree. Well, not disagree, but I'd rather watch the War Raiders than AOP at this point.
I know.
I don't hate them. Like, they were in NXT, like AOP, FTR, and DIY put on incredible matches. But it's just like, I don't like them, like with Karrion Kross. I don't like that Final Testament. I don't like any of what they're doing. And I'd rather keep them be. And am I getting my shows mixed up? Didn't Pierce announced that there's going to be the tag team tournament to go after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Yeah,
Right,
they
right.
want this. Yeah.
So again, I hope there's an emphasis back on tag team wrestling because I feel like it hasn't, especially now that the tag belts are split, where there's one on each brand. I like to see the tournament. I like to see there's a focus back on tag teams. I like to see with the Roar. It's gonna be fun. Me and my speech. Seeing
that's why we did this first.
Seeing them take the belts off the JD, I don't know. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope it's something different. Again, like those campy videos that they did with the Street Profits. Like, let's get serious. Let's none of the gimmicks. Like, just hard hitting tag team.
So you kind of touched on it. So then my other question with this is, will the War Raiders win the World Tag titles, the Raw? And if so, when?
World Tag.
Yeah.
The World Tag.
The World Tag, yeah.
Well, you said Raw.
You know what I mean. The tag titles from Raw, the World Tag.
I gotta pick on you. I don't know. I have to see who else is in the tournament and how the tournament shakes out. I don't necessarily see that, but again, Triple H was big on them in NXT, so maybe back as War Raiders trying maybe there is gonna be this resurgence of this big dominant tag champs.
Yeah. I think that they're going to eventually end up going to SmackDown and they'll compete on SmackDown and maybe they'll win the WWE tag titles on SmackDown. Because I think the tag division on SmackDown I just like a lot better. And I don't know. I think they'll get, the question is after this tournament, I don't think they're going to win it and be the number one contenders. So where do they go? How do they stay relevant in the tag titles pictures after this initial push that they're going to get upon their return? So I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen with the War Raiders? Do you think they'll win the tag titles, the world tag titles on Raw? Do you think they're not going to win anything? Like maybe they'll just be back and not win any tag titles. Not sure. Steve's got a comment.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of that.
Yeah. Actually, Valhalla lost the Maxine. If you lose the Maxine, you're banned from the show.
No, poor Maxine. Do we know when the next draft's going to be? I know the last one was
Probably after.
Are we going to ride this out through Mania again?
I think so.
I like the post-Mania shake up.
Yeah, something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think it'll go.
It's not anytime soon.
No, not at least advertised. So I don't know. We'll see. So we get back to our WWE Raw takeaways, which one other big, I'm going to say very big twist as we see Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso come face to face on Monday Night Raw and carrying over from SmackDown, which we will preview a little bit later on and touch upon more. The original bloodline, Roman, Jimmy, they need help. So what's next? The question is, will Jey join back up with his brother and the original tribal chief?
On the line. Love isn't always on time.
Hold the line. So, Nikki, take us through what's going on with the bloodline.
It's very so in Raw. So I guess quickly back to SmackDown. Jimmy and Roman were basically in the ring, and then basically Jimmy was like, "We need help. I know who to get," and he's like, "No, yeet." So I guess Roman and Jey are still not on good terms.
Right.
So then Jimmy goes to Raw in his lovely red sweatshirt, trying to blend in. And Jimmy, good lord. So Jay goes to, I guess, his locker room, and Jimmy's sitting there, and then basically Jay is like, nah, and closes the door. And then cut later, then Jimmy's walking down a hallway looking for Jay, and then Jay's basically like, nah, get out my face. And gives them, they do that, like, put their lip up thing, and it's like, ugh. And then, like, walk away.
Or, as I like to, hold on, do I have it? Yep, I still got the eyes.
So it's something, I said this before, I personally think it would be great if Jay doesn't join back with the bloodline. Like, he's got the IC belt, he's made him Jey Uso, he's doing his own thing. But what will it take? Because again, if it's supposed to be old versus new, what will it take to get Jay and Jimmy and Roman back together again?
So that's the question. Or did I spell Jey Uso wrong? Will Jey Uso forgive Jimmy? I know. Will he forgive Jimmy for his betrayals? That's the question.
So many times.
Yeah, him, Roman, everybody.
How many super kicks does Jay have to take in the face? Sometimes family's toxic, and sometimes you just have to walk away. It's something we all have to learn, kids. But I don't know. But they're always like, "Where's the mother?" And blood thicker than everything, and family over. Isn't that one of Roman's shirts, like family above everything? So what will it?
That sounds right.
Like, is Rikishi gonna come back and try to get his boys back together? But again, like, they're fighting solo, so I don't know if that's gonna work. Do you have, I think I'm probably stealing this from you, but other people, but like, does Paul Heyman have to come back and get the kids back together?
So that is the question. So first off, will Jay forgive Jimmy? We want to hear from our audience. Let us know in the comments. And question 2, if he does, then when and how does Jey Uso rejoin Roman and Jimmy?
Is something going to happen, or do you post, I guess, a couple weeks before Survivor Series? I think probably post Saudi show before Survivor Series. Do they need to have, like, does Bloodline come to Raw and mess up Jay, and then like Jimmy and Roman have to come save him? Does that get everyone back together?
Well, I feel like the weird, and I said this before, the weird thing about this is there's a wild card in this whole storyline that I've said in the past, that maybe a dark horse, that Braun Breaker, that no one from your family ever kicked my family. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah,
and Braun Breaker hates it seems like he hates the Usos or their whole family so much that it'd be really interesting to see, like, if they found a way to make, like, what was it? Hangman in AEW just recently was like the wild card for the Elite, right? Like, he didn't care about the Elite; he just wanted to kick Swerve's ass. So like something along those lines of, like, you're kind of a rogue guy, you just don't care, you just want to beat everybody up. But again, he would have to find a way to respect or do something with Jay. It would be an interesting wild card and wrinkle in this whole storyline. But to me, I still think maybe it's Crown Jewel or the Raw or SmackDown after Crown Jewel that Jay, with the help or the advisement or the advice of the wise man Paul Heyman, I think that's where we see Jay potentially get involved in. But I agree with you. I think it'd be interesting if they don't need him per se in it.
And like, also, but not Braun Breaker, but also Sammy's your wild card in there.
True.
I know there was rumors that, like, they didn't want Sammy, but like, Sammy makes more sense than Braun. I don't want to see Cody involved. Like, you gotta call up Piccolo or something. We need somewhere. Reach in your pockets and grab a Samoan.
Zilla could be signed.
I don't know. I really don't want Cody in a match. I know it's probably like, oh, I'm gonna be in my dad's match, but I don't like Cody and Roman. I feel like it's too much already. I'm like, all right, you need to breathe a little bit.
Agreed. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where they go from here or how they get back, but we want to hear from all you. What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below, and we'll read them off and see what we got. But from Monday Night Raw, again, there's a lot of cross branding that's going on for Raw anyhow, between the Raw, SmackDown, both champions challenging each other. Gunther, Cody, and then we had the interactions between Liv, Rhea, Nia, all that stuff. So, and Tiffany Stratton all involved there. So, generally speaking, these were the two biggest takeaways that we had from Monday Night Raw. I don't know if any of you out there in the internet YouTube world thought differently of Monday Night Raw, but let us know. What were your big takeaways from Raw? But for us, that's kind of how we saw it.
And now it's nice to have a 2-hour show. And it's like 10 o'clock and I'm like turning off the light and rolling over. It's great. I am liking these 2-hour shows.
And it was tough for me because I turned back and forth between that and the shitty Jets. And literally, it was like 10 o'clock. It was 10:03 and it was over and I completely forgot. I was like, oh man, I missed like so much of it. So I had to go back and watch. But we digress. So we move from WWE Raw on to AEW, which encompasses both WrestleDream and Dynamite, where Jon Moxley becomes the first ever 4-time AEW heavyweight or world heavyweight champion. Nikki, after a crazy, first off, I will give props. I have to give props when it is due. Nikki was 6-3. Excuse me, because there was nine matches on the card, and I was 4-5. So Nikki wins the AEW belt, and this was one of the matches that Nikki and I differed on. Afterwards, Mox cuts a promo that you touched upon earlier, leaving the arena. But let's get the overall thoughts. Nikki, what are you thinking?
The match or the promo or everything?
Everything.
So the match was good. I liked the match. A hard watch. I think I don't really like Tony Sobran, but I think it's very interesting to have your pay-per-view once again end and have the air sucked out of the room, have all your baby faces basically crying around your ring, and Moxley puts the belt in a bag and runs. And then I'm really liking this. And again, they filmed the promo of him and the group leaving and Claudio being the getaway driver, and then whoever's in the back of the thing with them, and he's cutting the promo. And I think that's I'm so different. And I really like that a lot.
Well, it's, you know what it is. It's very Shield-esque.
No.
But they used to hold the camera, but like it's Shield-esque stuff because they were again, it's callbacks to some ways. Like again, it's its own thing. I'm not gonna crap on it, but I'm saying it's very Shield-esque because that's kind of what the BCC is similar of to some extent.
But again, like Bryan's just so banged. I mean, when we ran through that tour, I think it was the right move to put it back on Mox. I think he can be this crazy tyrant heel again. He's like, y'all work for me now, and making all the baby faces cry. Wheeler with them makes sense. I think he's afraid of Mox, and that's why he joined them. I hope maybe one day maybe not, but we'll see. Like there was not a promo, but like a CCTV footage of like Moxley like bullying GTV for Mox like bullying Wheeler to like join them, and like Wheeler looked upset, and then he handed him the bag and was like, "You do it," and then he like did it. I love that he's like, it was a great photo of it. He's growing this like goatee beard now.
Who, Mox or Wheeler?
No, yeah, you. Mox.
I didn't know that.
what you're showing. Sorry, it's kind of like Stone Cold-esque looking that he's gonna be like this ass kicking.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I was really shocked because I thought that he would lose, but this would still be a bigger power struggle within the AEW,
That's
world.
kind of
But I guess, like, I don't know. I was surprised. I thought he could still get it. While I don't know. I was surprised that he was the one to take it off of, even though they have the history. He was the one to take it off of Bryan. I thought he could have had somebody else because he's been champion 4 times.
You are
now.
so big on face versus heel that you needed this big bad new, like, I don't want to say recent turned heel, building this new faction, saying how they're making money off him and all these people and I didn't earn it and all this other stuff. And then you see on Dynamite when they are beating up everyone in the ring, and then like the Bucks are just standing there like, and then like they was like, oh, we should probably help them, and then what is it? Jack Perry was like, no, let's just go up the ramp, bye. Like, we're gonna ignore this. So I think Perry's gonna wind up joining Mox. But I think in having the Bucks scared of him, I think is an interesting dynamic. And I think this is just all right. Like, Bryan can't do this anymore. We have to go the heel. I think we have to go this heel route. But I think Mox is the way to go. Again, I think Tony. It's kind of like how Vince would get scared and like quit Brock Lesnar. I think Tony gets scared, like, oh, Bryan's leaving earlier than we thought. I'm scared, like, let's put the belt back on Mox.
Yeah, no, he panicked. He panic books a lot. So I guess my first question, because I have a couple more on this topic, but what's next for the new BCC? Because now everyone's on notice. They all, according to Mox, which his promo was on Dynamite, you all work, like you said, you all work for me now. So maybe he is the higher power that we were talking about. I still don't buy it. I still think Shane's coming in. But what's next for the new BCC? Now they have the world title. They beat up a bunch of people on Dynamite, right? And now the Bucks are afraid of them, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you see as the next thing? Do you see maybe, like, I don't think they interact with the Bucks just yet. I think the Bucks hang clear, and it's like, because I know Daniel Garcia and oh my gosh, was it Private Party? Backstage, I'm blanking on.
No, it was the Dark Order, which are now magically turned face, and then Top Flight.
So Top Flight. So then, presumably they'll probably get a match.
I think they have a match tomorrow.
Yeah, so they'll probably just keep. Again, you always get those mid to low jobber guys that want to defend the company that they're going to beat up. So, who is the next real, like, who's going to step up to them? Like, do they go after? Maybe it's Wheeler. Do they still have? Yeah, they still have the trios titles now, right? They're still trios. So
yes.
So do they go after the world? Like, well, no, they're not going to go after the world tag titles. Maybe they are. I don't know. Do they interact with the Bucks sooner than we think?
I think they need to go on a belt collection tour. I think you can put. Maybe we're keeping them away from the Young Bucks, maybe not. But you can take the belt off Okada, whatever. It's not the Crunch Wrap, that's what Takeshita has now. Whatever belt Okada has, and then do you bring Jack Perry because then you have that belt, and then you get the tag.
No, is it
the Continental ones is Takeshita's.
No, he's the international. It is the Continental title.
Oh Jesus, they're two different things.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Welcome
no,
to AEW.
Takeshi's international. That used to be the Mid-Atlantic. Oh God, 20-year belts.
Yeah.
Like, do you go on a run, like taking whatever one Okada has? Because I think Takeshi's going to go on a run for a little bit because he's actually wrestling this weekend at Maple Leaf Rev, whatever Scott D'Amore's new thing is. Maple Leaf somebody and Mara Reynolds coming back, and I think he's going to do that. But do you have him whatever Okada has, and then do you just go after the Elite? Do you take the Okada belt? Do you take the tag belts? Do you either take out Jack Perry or recruit Jack Perry?
Maybe that is a good.
Do you maybe put a women's belt on Marina?
I would.
Honestly, at this point, maybe if you either Sasha's belt or maybe give
Sasha's.
I was gonna say or maybe the women's Ring of Honor.
No, I don't want anything with Ring of Honor. to do it. That dilutes the whole thing is controlling AEW. Who cares?
Sure. So then I want her to go after Mariah. I think maybe just take out Sasha because she's also again she's friends with the Elite.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes sense, babe. So yeah, have them on this little belt collector run.
And take out the Elite with Jack Perry being the final straw, joining them.
Yeah,
would be a nice. That's what we think. What do you all think? Let us know. How do you want? What do you want? What's next for the BCC? What do you think?
I'm just interested because I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna change their name.
And then also, well, I think so too. But then who? The other question is, who steps up to challenge Mox? Because now who's the next challenger? Darby lost his title shot, but I think Darby Allin is going to be in the periphery for a bit.
Yeah.
Give him the Sting treatment as they take over, and let him just sit
Is
and
this
watch.
all a ruse to get Darby over in a year and put the belt on him?
Possibly.
Ugh.
I wouldn't be shocked, but
Somewhere Ed's crying, just like somewhere Mox is bleeding.
exactly. Somewhere Ed is just throwing things against the screen.
Then who came? So I guess maybe first would be OC. He was one of the first ones down there that got beat up. He got beat up on Wednesday. He had there's that weird backstage segment at WrestleDream when OC's talking to Renee, and then Jerry Lynn comes and he's like, "You gotta be serious, Pam."
Yeah, maybe.
So, like, I don't know if there's this weird, like, you're gonna turn OC, change him up.
I feel like there's a mid card to upper tier talent that they are can throw in there, but I just don't know who and you know how I feel about faces and heels. It's got to be a face. So who?
Garcia.
Probably, actually, it might be Daniel Garcia. That might be a good point. If they don't throw him in the mid card after we're going to talk about this in our next segment. Because Daniel Garcia does touch upon that, and we will get to that in 3 seconds. But I just want to see the last question on this is, when will we see Bryan Danielson again?
Oh God, let that poor little pickle take a break. He needs surgery. Birdie needs to go to school. I would give him a year. I would honestly give him a year.
A full year off, and then
I think he'll be back. I still think he'll be backstage. I still think he'll do some creative stuff. I still think he'll yell at people for posting stuff on X. But on my TV, in my ring, give me at least 6 to 8. Give me some time. That's why I feel like with kind of like my Seth Rollins coming back earlier, like Roman Reigns back so early. Like, I can't miss you if you're not gone.
Fair.
And again, Steven's point, he could show up
at the WWE Hall of Fame when he's inducted.
WWE. He could be there tonight. Put it in 2 hours, kids. He can be there. I hope he doesn't. Again, go get surgery, go heal, be with your kids. Apparently, Buddy's biting people and gouging eyeballs.
Unbelievable.
I know. So maybe spend some time with kids. Again, I'm not a parent. I don't know what you do. But I think Bryan needs to be off my TV for a little bit.
So, I guess the final question, which kind of put a bow on this portion, I guess, how did you like the end of Bryan Danielson's AEW World Title run?
So again, I feel like they ran through the gauntlet. Like, you wanted to get your Okada match, and you wanted to get him and Nigel, and you needed to get him and Moxley do a thing. You needed to have him and Swerve have a thing. Like, it was just feel like we just ran. And so I feel like I think it's more serious than they're letting on. And he said in an interview that something he was feeling numb, like he's getting numb again.
So then why not get the surgery? Well, maybe you don't know how you're going to come back from, I guess, but like, why not get the surgery and then do the run and finish it where you could get these matches? Like, you got the McGuinness match, you get the, like, maybe there's more, like, maybe there's a Zack Sabre match, another Zack Sabre match in there. Like,
that's why Tony can't, because knowing he has to get the surgery, but you want to have that moment for him in Wembley. Like, apparently that was the thing all along. He was having that moment in Wembley. Wembley, I can't say that. And then just him getting worse and worse and worse. And again, he got injured in the Okada match. He got injured in the other match. He's not doing well. Let the poor little baby rest. I love Bryan. Let him. Put him to bed. I just want to wrap him up in a little blanket, give him a cup of tea, and go sit in the corner for a little bit.
I don't know. Me personally, I didn't like the end. Again, maybe if he's more injured than everybody's letting on. I know he needs surgery, but like, I just felt like there was a little bit more to put the belt on him than you might as I don't know. You might as well just let Swerve end his career because why are you going to give him a 2-3 month? No, it seems like less than 3 months that he wanted.
Yeah, wouldn't what the end of August or because it was August 26th, 25th when was
Yeah, like to make him a transitional champion in a lot of
well,
ways.
that's what makes me worried because he wanted to have him have that moment. And is he really legit done? I don't want him to be like a Ric Flair and come back 4,000 times and look sad pants in the ring. Like I do not want to see that. But yeah, no, I think Tony wanted to give him this moment. He wanted to, in his history, in Tony's AEW history, he can say that Bryan Danielson was one of his champions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, at least at the very least that'll be there. So moving on from Bryan Danielson's end of career to a return, two returns really. MJF first and Adam Cole both returned to AEW at WrestleDream.
In the same weird segment.
And, well, no, that Tony does it all the time because was it Bryan Danielson debuted with Cole?
With Cole, yeah.
So Cole just likes the tag team and
well, I guess
Adam Coattail Cole.
Because
he was the second guy in both of them, I think.
No, he was the first guy. And
Oh,
Brian was the last guy. Because Brian was.
Well, I'm still calling him Coattail Adam Cole.
Well, this is why they nixed Bobby debuting because then it'd be all these re-debuts and a thing all at once.
Then it would drive me crazy because I wouldn't know how to do the show if we only have 3 things. And you know how I love debuts and returns.
This is so convoluted. So it was the Jack Perry Shibata match for the TNT belt. Jack Perry wins poor Shibata. But then
well, I'm gonna stop you for a second. That doesn't surprise me because you usually want to do and add some excitement to a match that probably doesn't have that much excitement, and that's exactly the match you would have.
I called Jack Perry winning. I want to see more for Shibata. It's just basically what I'm saying. I called Perry winning. It was a fun match. I just wanted more for Shibata. The poor thing lost his brain.
No, well, my point is that it's a match with less build up that no one really thought about. So that's where you would do something like this to get a little bit more of a pop and keep the crowd on a high.
Sure. Okay, I get where you're coming from. So that match ended. So then Garcia's was the last week, the week before when he's like, I resigned, I'm staying, blah, 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 we're the best wrestle. So Daniel Garcia comes out because he basically called out Jack Perry. He's going after anybody who has a belt. So he comes out and gets in Perry's face. But then MJF comes out and
gets in his
face. Either they basically bought a new Dynamite Diamond ring, hits him with that, takes out Garcia.
So backtracking. So first off, he gets hit from behind from Jack Perry, and then he eventually reveals he found his diamond ring. But I'm stopping right here because this is what we talked about last week when oh my God, Daniel Garcia cut this promo, and we're like, is he a main event player? Like he was talking about how great it was that he re-signed, and what do they do in the first pay-per-view after you re-sign this guy? This is the guy you're gonna make into a star, right? We just have him come out and just absolutely get trashed from the guy that whose career he was trying to end to build his name off of. He just looks like such garbage in this. I just feel like at the end of the day, like you were building up this re-signing, like he re-signed it for a reason, to get your ass kicked by MJF again. And like I know he didn't he win the match, but still, like he once again, like I know MJF's a bigger star, but he once again he's gonna get buried. Like it's just you didn't even have to wait a week for him to get that. Like that's what made me laugh. It's like I didn't have to wait a week to see where you were gonna be in the pecking order.
I know, and that's why I kind of really wanted him to sign with WWE. I don't know. I'm hoping they can build, because he keeps coming out as like the baby face, locker room guy to come out and fight people. So again, takes out MJF. MJF takes out Garcia, which leads to our other guy coming out. Then all of a sudden, it's all about the boom, baby.
So basically, Better Than You, baby, returned. That should have been really even though it's not Better Than You, they're not together. So Cole comes out because Adam Coattail Cole has to ride MJF's coattails, and ultimately chases him off because it looks like and MJF kind of made it like a little hobble, like joke as he's coming out in this segment. And then he runs down. And honestly, swear to God, when he started running down, I'm like, he's going to hurt his ankle again. He's going to sprain his ankle. Like, I just feel like.
Jump off things. Stop jumping. Like, him in public. Don't jump. Stop jumping. Everyone stop jumping.
So, my question is, how do you feel? Because it leads into a promo on Dynamite where Adam Cole comes out and basically runs down MJF. But they switch roles. And he basically said he knew MJF was this POS basically from day one, and that, what he did was justified because everyone knows that MJF went back and reverted back to the POS that he is. So my question to everybody out there, and let us know in the comments below, how do you feel about the continuation of the storyline? Do you still want to see Adam Cole, MJF? Now, I did say, I will admit this, that when MJF came back, the kick in the balls was just dumb. He should have had a match to blow off that feud. And to kick him in the balls, and that's what they moved on. And he basically cut the promo instead of moving on. That wasn't a great blow off to this. So they did need a match, and I did want to see it. But I don't know that right now this was the avenue to go down for a multitude of reasons. So, Nikki, how do you feel about the continuation of this?
I just feel like, again, it was kind of put to bed. MJF came back, he threw the devil mask, he hit it, like he spit on it, and it's like, we're done. And I don't disagree that they need to have a blow-off match, but I think this is something you can put on the back burner. Like, it didn't need to happen right away. I was, thinking, like, I love Adam Cole. And I was thinking, like, oh, I really miss Adam Cole on my TV. And he cuts this promo, and I could not care. Like, I couldn't care. It's like, it's story time with Adam Cole.
He's bad because he's a bad guy.
It's like, story time with Adam Cole. I'm here for this baby. And he starts talking, and he's like, oh, he's phony. His hair. Blue, blue, blue. And I was like, I don't care about his hair.
Which is basically the Ricky Starks promo.
Yeah, like, everyone commented on his hair. I don't care if he had to get a hair transplant. Or his beautiful locks. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. I'm not super pumped about this.
So, and then the other question I have is, and you know me, you know how I love face versus heel. In this storyline, Adam Cole now becomes the baby face, and MJF has gone back to the heel. Are the right characters in the right roles in the storyline? Because honestly, as great a heel as MJF is, probably the greatest heel right now in professional wrestling, I'd argue. In this storyline, because of what happened, his friendship was betrayed. He let people in, all this stuff. He should be the face.
Yeah, like, we were talking about this on Wednesday. We were watching this. Like, he lost the belt because of Cole. Why is he the heel in this?
And why does he not want to fight him? Like, you screwed me over. You should want, like, he kicked him in the ball, like, all right, that's enough revenge for me. I don't know that this is right.
Unless MJF agrees with us, it's like, it's not time. Let's do other things. Like, they spend so much time together. We love Better Than You, baby, and I'm so sad we didn't get that Met colored shirt that they had when they were at whatever. I'm so upset. I found one that was like 4XL on eBay, and it was like, well, that's not gonna fit anybody. But now I don't want to see this. What?
It's like a switcher.
Like, I don't want to see this. I don't. And it's something that we should have wanted to see, but obviously with both of them being injured, we're too far gone now. Like, I'm not interested. And for, like, even like MJF promo didn't like hook me into anything, or it's like, oh yeah, no, he totally should have fed him, or oh yeah, he should. I'm just very indifferent to the whole thing, and that's not how you want your. Either you want to cheer this, you want to boo this. For me, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
And boo. It's not how you want. You want one or the other.
Well, you have two of your, arguably, like, so in AEW, I would consider Adam Cole main event, especially in AEW, main event in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So you have two of your main event talents, but it's just what I don't. It's not going to be in the right spot. It's like it's a force. Like, we need a upper mid card main event match for the next pay-per-view, and this is kind of for, like, I'd like to see MJF maybe get the Kingdom to turn on him. That would be something, buy off the Kingdom and maybe like that's a little wrinkle in this whole storyline. Like that was the people that, helped him pull off this whole devil thing along the way. So maybe there's that.
But I'm going because thinking about the Kingdom. What pay-per-view just happened? And it was, or was it just Dynamite? It was Hook and Roddy had the match, and then Roddy hugged him afterwards, and then Hook.
Yeah.
Was that a Dynamite or is that a pay-per-view?
No, it was Dynamite. It was the they retired because we did on the show.
Yeah.
They retired it on Dynamite because he gave it to Taz.
Yeah, he gave it to Taz, and Taz is getting his, becoming RoboCop.
Robotaz.
But I'm not up to date on Collision as much as I should be. But have we seen Roddy since?
I don't think so now.
Because I still don't understand why Roddy and Hook hugged. And I thought Hook was leaving because he did this whole babyface promo, retired his belt, did the thing. Everyone was crying. But then he cut like a promo and he's like, my dad got attacked. And it's like, you really have to make a storyline happen to write off your commentary person. You can't just say Taz is getting knee surgery.
Yeah.
Which he posted on Twitter or Instagram anyway. Why would you have to be like, oh, he got beat up backstage?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all weird. But I don't see Roddy and the Kingdom coming back and like, because they don't feel very heely to me. And then also,
they don't feel like very anything to me.
True, as much as I love Roddy, but also not knowing if, obviously we know Maria's leaving. Is Mike staying? I don't know what Mike and Taven's.
Yeah, that could be. Well, you could also have maybe if Bennett leaves, maybe Taven's one of the guys. You don't have to. The whole group.
And like again, we saw about Taven when he was ROH champion. Like I feel like they've been like nothing, but they had whatever belt for a hot second. Like
they could have given the AEW tag titles. I don't know why they went for this stupid.
I love Roddy, and I feel like he's being underutilized and everything. So I don't know.
We'll see. Well,
his wife is running off with Mox, so
I don't know. What do you all think as we put a bow on AEW Dynamite? MJF and Adam Cole return. What were your takeaways? What were your AEW Dynamite takeaways? Put it in the comments below. Let us know. We'll read them off. We're steadily approaching our call-in hour. We got one more segment, and then we're running into our callers, and you never know who's going to pop up on the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. So, Nikki, let's get into, for the 7 o'clock hour, let's get into a little WWE SmackDown. Let's preview SmackDown tonight. So it looks as though Cody Rhodes is going to address Gunther tonight. So my question is pretty straightforward, relatively, is I guess who strikes first, Cody or Gunther?
I hope neither of them do. I think it's something, because I think they're both sort of cerebral about this. Because again, like how Gunther kind of dug into Sammy, and how he dug into Jay, and how he dug into people that he's or all the crap that he said to Bret Hart, and then what he said to Goldberg. He's I'm gonna kind of run you down before I hit you. And then Cody's also a talker, but he's also a hot I don't know. I hope they just kind of wait. One of those things you don't want to see them touch until they actually get in the ring. So
you think it's gonna be a pure wrestling fans wrestler's wrestling match?
This doesn't need to be a brawl or a schmoz, and then all the security guys that come out and keep them apart. He just kind of did that with Sammy. With Sammy coming and they were all brawling and keeping them apart. So,
True. Yeah, no, not Crown Jewel. Oh my gosh,
Crown Jewel. No, the Bad Blood? I don't know. Bad Blood's such a blur in my brain. Unfortunately. Didn't he was cutting down Bill Goldberg, and then Sami
Yes,
came in
yes.
because they had the match at
Yeah, 'cause
Raw.
they were cutting
So
it,
it's
yeah.
just like they already had that brawl pull apart thing, and then Cody's getting beat up by KO. Like, I think like we don't need that brawly part. Like, let's just wait. It's what 14 days? No, 13 days. We're counting down. I think we can wait. Just wait. Let it happen in the ring.
Yeah, I mean,
But tell me I'm wrong down below.
yeah, like to me, conventional wisdom says the heel strikes first. But you never know yet. But I think to the extent, like, and when we probably preview this in a couple weeks, I do think KO is going to be involved in something with this. So to me, who strikes first is going to be interesting because, yeah, to your point, it may not even have to have any blows. It may not have to come to blows, like which you've kind of seen in the last couple weeks of the Punk McIntyre feud. Like that went to Hell in a Cell. So it's interesting to see. I think if it were to happen, I think Gunther gets a cheap shot in. But it would be nice to kind of, again, to your point, have them hold off because it's a wrestler's wrestling match. Say that WWE. But
War Raiders.
You still did it.
Cash.
You did it. Proud of you. You're doing well. But I don't know. Then the other thing, so again, stemming from a little bit bleeding over and previewing into SmackDown tonight, and we saw this on Raw. They teased a little bit, just a little bit, a Tiffany Stratton cash in on Liv Morgan. Could we see a wrinkle in this whole storyline where the title belt that we thought all along was going on Tiffany is not the one that's going on her, and she's going to pull out a bait and switch on this one, become the World Heavyweight World
is Raw, WWE is SmackDown. I think wouldn't that be fun if she cashes in at the Saudi match, and whoever goes down, whoever's out, she just comes, slips in, and takes either belt and just runs away.
Could you win both belts? Like, is that
Could she lay over both of them and run out with two belts? And she could be Tippy two belts?
Tippy Toodles?
Tippy Toodles, two belts? Part of me would like, because, you know, me and my wrestling couples, part of me would like to see her take the belt off Liv so she can be on Raw and her and Kaiser can be together and travel together.
Yeah.
Because Ludwig Kaiser and Tippy are dating in real life. And there's a really cute picture of the two of them with Gunther and his wife Ginny, and the four of them were eating dinner together, and I love it so much. But then I guess it could. Then who? Because she already beat Bayley. She already beat Nia beat Bayley and beat Naomi. And if Tiffy goes to Raw, then who? Then who is Nia gonna? Then who's there to fight Nia? Or who's their next challenger?
It could be Bayley. It could be Naomi.
We already did that. We did that. We already run that.
It could be a number of different.
You're not naming ladies. You have Bianca.
Maybe they move Lyra to SmackDown.
I already saw her versus Nia for Queen of the Ring. I want fresh. Like, I don't know, they keep talking about Charlotte's coming back anytime soon.
That could, yeah.
Bianca and Jade are in the tag team division.
Oops.
Who, they have so many ladies, and they're all, like, Pure Fusion Collective's not doing anything. Zelina Vega, not doing anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's, like, Zelina Vega could be a decent, like, I think you could keep the belt on Nia for a little bit. You know,
You could. But again, like, because I would kind of steal your thunder and Dylan our pillow talk. But you said like would. Because again, you're not. She can cash in on anyone. She's not assigned to a belt. She's assigned to SmackDown, but she. But they also did that weird thing with Damian. That Damian was like, "Oh, I can't cash in on Seth because he's on the injured list and he can't touch Seth."
Hmm.
So, could Tiffany cash in on Liv, or they're just making new rules up as they go, or just like
No, yeah, I think you could cash in on any. No, because the belt rule was
Well, I
that
guess
last time in Money in the Bank you could cash in on any champion.
I
'cause
think
with
Damian
theory.
was kind of just saying that in the interview because he knew he wasn't going after Roman.
I don't know. I think it gives you the opportunity. I think it would be terrible not to
But
go after the big belt, but
Yeah,
like,
but I think it's interesting having this match, having the two women's champions against each other, and having Tiffy with the briefcase. I think that would be the match to watch, to see who wins, and then who wins and who walks out with the belt. 'Cause
it'd be
that's
kind of
what
interesting if Tiffany had the briefcase in like a triple threat and then lost, and then after the match like cashed it in and won. Like, you know what I mean?
With Jillian?
Like was in the match. Hey Enzo, welcome in. We're opening up the phone lines very shortly if you want to call in and talk wrestling with us. You know, like you loses the match. It's like a triple threat because remember Rollins was in the triple threat with I think Lesnar and somebody else years back, and like he was the Money in the Bank winner. So
Wait, are you talking about the most famous cash in when Seth cashed in?
no. He had a triple threat match way before that for the belt while he had the briefcase, and he lost it. And I think it's where he did the Phoenix Splash to Lesnar. I might be confusing a singles match with Lesnar with the triple threat with the Phoenix Splash. But no, he was in a triple threat where he didn't win it. I do recall that very vividly. So I think that that would be a nice little wrinkle that you don't really see. It's like I lost. I'm like, now I'm gonna win again. Anyway, like it'd be a nice little take on it that we haven't seen. So I don't know. What do you all think? Let us know in the comments below. Let's get ready. Open up the phone lines here. If you want to call in, chime in, let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking on this Friday night. What do you think about MJF?
I am wearing my new MJF shirt. I offered it to Nick. Nick didn't say anything, so I took it. Thank you, Pro Wrestling Tees.
So what do you think about MJF's return? Adam Cole's return? Do you have any thoughts on those? Do you feel good about it? Do you think that storyline is going to be a big bust and a waste of time? Did you like Monday Night Raw? The Usos, do you want to see them get back together? Or do you want to see Jay stay away?
Get
From
out
that
of my face, Oos.
Yeah, get out of that bloodline storyline. I don't know. Do you want to see him just focus on himself?
I'm just gonna focus on me right now.
Yeah, he needs to work on himself.
I'm not talking to people.
What about the War Raiders? Their re-debut on Raw. Do you think that they can actually take it to a whole other level and be the dominant tag team that
They should be.
we all thought they were when they
on
came
the
up?
Indies?
It's a lot to talk about. Daniel Garcia got his ass kicked in this
Like
whole thing.
dance?
No.
No.
We're not doing it. No.
Or WrestleDream that Swerve is staying with Nana till MVP. Nana.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to talk about. So, that being said, let's open up the phone lines. Phones. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call in, actually, I should say, click the link below. Two things. There's a call-in link. It's a StreamYard link in the description. You can click on that, and that'll take you to a page. First off, mute your YouTube page. And then on your second tab, that is where you'll come in. And you'll write in your name and fun stuff and go from there. So, we want to hear from all you. That being said, now the phone lines are officially. Nikki.
Yes.
How do you like the phone lines? might have to. This might be one of. To be honest, we're nearing year end, which will bring season 2, year 2 of the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Part 2.
Whatever you want to call it.
Is this gonna be the musical one?
Yes.
Are we gonna sing and dance together?
No, we're not.
No.
You could, but I won't be there. But what can I say? That being said, are you ready?
Always. Give it to me.
All right. Well, we got a regular on the line. And when you're a regular, there's always one thing that happens. Say his name, and he appears. Nick.
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat
Bring him in. Steven!
Good evening.
Steve, welcome back. What
All
are you
right.
thinking? What are you drinking, Steve?
I am drinking, even though they just hit a 3-run homer, I am drinking a very large defeat right now.
We turned off. Steven, for those listeners, is a LA Dodger fan. We here are New York Mets fans, and we turned off the game. We were going to leave it on, but Nikki said it would probably be too distracting.
Steven, you know the basement. That TV on my periphery would be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So,
We turned it off.
What's the score?
10-5.
Oh my God. What inning? It's
10-5 Mets, top of the 5th.
It's only the 5th inning?
They're in the top of the 5th inning, yeah. 2 outs.
It's going to be a long game.
It was 10-2 until a minute ago. I missed who hit it, but Dodgers just hit a 3-run homer.
It'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting game. It's far from over. So, but regardless, Steve, bring it back to wrestling. What are you thinking? What are you drinking on this Friday?
Grimace's final revenge. Geez, I have to say I'm not exactly prepared, but you touched on something just a few minutes ago. Yes, I think it's an increasing possibility that Tiffany sometime before the end of the year will cash in on Liv instead. Like Rhea will totally murk Liv at some, during some setup, and then Tiffany will run out with her briefcase. And it totally makes sense from an organizational standpoint to have Tiffany come over to Raw, because WWE doesn't like to split up couples between brands, and her significant other is on Raw.
And Giovanni Vinci is on SmackDown, and he's a little flirt, apparently.
Did you hear that rumor, Steve?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Did you hear that rumor that apparently Giovanni Vinci was hitting on Tiffy, and that's why he got kicked out of their group and then got squashed on his re-debut because he flirted with Tiffany?
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some punishment. He could have gotten it a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, I still don't think he was getting any sort of push anyway. Like I get the feeling that, like, I don't know, Giovanni Vinci wasn't.
But yeah, no. For you flirting with Tiffany, you got kicked out of Imperium, got repackaged just to get beat up. Like, I guess Gunther and Kaiser kind of got some slay.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
What's funny about Vinci in that squash match is Vinci was also on Speed this week, and that match lasted longer against a better opponent.
Did he win?
He did not. He did not win. He was against Sheamus.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's no way he's winning. I'm sure, but like, I'm trying to think of like what like there's been a few, but now like recently, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Like wrestlers, maybe it was like Gilbert, but like just like that debut, they made a big deal about their debut, and just to make them jobbers.
God, so many.
Oh,
It's no, but like I mean,
oh,
like their first match they lost, not like they eventually like became like it's not like a I don't I'm just using Heath Slater. Like he came up as the one man rock band, got like was like 1 and 2, and like was relatively credible, and then eventually everyone's like, yeah, this guy's gonna job out. I'm talking about like they gave him a video package like they did Vinci, and then they came out and lost. And there's been a number of guys like that, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head, like a good name. So if you know, as people are chiming in, let me know in the comments below. Like Giovanni Vinci, as you bring it up, had all these vignettes and a big debut. Do you remember someone that had a big package debut and just flopped and lost in their debut?
I think Fandango, even though he won at WrestleMania, Fandango comes to mind. After that one win, I don't think he did very much.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like it was like Emelina's coming and she came back and she's like, I'm turning back to Emma and left. Like, and she did nothing after that. Thinking like Veer Mahan, it was like Veer's coming and then never came. Like I don't.
Yeah. No, I think he did win because he got like he used I remember he used like a clothesline as his finisher.
Like no, because they
And I was
like
like,
a guy. I thought he had.
Yeah, he was $1 million arm.
EC3 is another one.
Did he lose his first match?
Who?
EC3.
Oh, he won his debut match and then nothing after that.
But again, so to that point though, right? He won his debut match. So that's kind of my theory on it, is that like ultimately, yeah, like he like who comes in, not many wrestlers come in and lose their debut match, because the idea is, right, they're debuting, you want to build them up, and you never know who's going to be a star. So you want them to look as strong as possible. So to me, it was interesting that like again, Vinci, like you get all these video packages, it's money that they're investing in you. So to lose, like it's very rare that happens. And
Don't be flirting with some top people.
fair enough. Steve, what else you got for us?
What else do I got? Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm not very prepared today. Okay. Well, how long do you it looks like really we're still on the path to Bloodline Civil War.
Mm. Yeah, and that's kind of to your point, like what SmackDown is going to look like tonight is a lot of the only thing on the WWE website, because I looked at it before we did the show, I was like, what are they promoting? I think there's going to be a Carmelo, another one of the 17 Carmelo Hayes matches. Carmelo Hayes Andrade matches.
Andrade. It's Andrade Mello, and I have no desire.
14. But like
7? 6.
they're doing
6 or 7.
they're doing a best of 37 series.
I couldn't care less.
They're recreating the old Magnum TA Nikita Koloff feud.
Exactly. For the next
Feels
year,
like it.
that's what they're going to create. You know, Nikki said there's no mid card on SmackDown. They're going to be the mid card.
Yeah, right.
2 of them fighting an LA Knight above them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tonight's SmackDown basically is a lot to your point. It's Cody and Gunther's face off, and what goes on with the Bloodline. So, Steve, what are you thinking with the Bloodline stuff?
They're slowly going to build it up. I mean, because we're still in the middle of October. They still have a few weeks, and is the plan to do a 4-on-4, or is it going to be a 5-on-5? How many more people are they going to introduce? I think clearly they're going to bring in Sammy at some point, even though he and Jay are on other brands. I mean, they're already starting to reintroduce Jay. And then who else do you get if you're going to make it 5-on-5? Like I think last time they did this. Who else do you add? Is The Rock involved? I'd say probably not, because it's a cage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's how long do you want the match to be? Because if it's 3 to 5 minutes between every person, and then all 10 people have to get into the ring, and then War Games begins. I'd rather see it 4 and 4. I think 5 and 5 would be too much, especially if they also think they're going to do a female one. Like it's just going to be two matches. I rather
Plus
see
the
it
45-minute ring entrances.
exactly. Cody and Roman got to get
It's going to be a 3-match PLA.
bands in. I don't know. I would like to see, because I kind of alluded to this before, like Paul Heyman kind of come in for like as our Marvel people kind of come in as like a Nick Fury kind of like I have to collect all the people and we have to come together to fight the bad. So I would love Heyman to come in and like, all right, Roman, we gotta make it okay with Jed. We have to make it okay with Sammy. These are the 4 that are going to defeat those 4.
Yeah, he's the voice of reason.
Yeah, I really don't want to see Cody in this match at all.
No, I think he'll have his own problems that night. So
hopefully, yeah, that's what you hope. Or does like I could totally see a storyline where, well, maybe if they're keeping it going, like where Kevin Owens gets involved in the War Games match to screw Cody if he's involved,
Well, wouldn't he get involved at the Saudi match before?
Yeah, he could very well.
Like, does he get involved at the Saudi match? Cody loses to Gunther, and then it's KO as the vicious heel at the Survivor Series match.
I still think it's triple threat Survivor Series. I think it's triple threat Cody, Randy Orton, I almost said RKO, Randy Orton, and KO. And then I think there could be, again, the whole theory of Survivor Series. It's like survive, right? Like if you're not going to do a bunch of like elimination matches like the old school, because Triple H has booked everything very old school in general. If you're not going to do it like that, you could, if your theme is Survivor Series, you could have a triple threat for the WWE Undisputed title. You could have a fatal 4-way with Tiffany Stratton for the women's SmackDown women's title, WWE women's title, and have the War Games match, which is a survival match. And those are 3 big themes. Those are your big 3, your 2 bookends and your middle main match. Like your War Games ends the night. Probably, maybe the women open or whatever you want to do, like, or the women or a big match in the middle that no one knows who's going to win. Like that, you have to keep eyeballs on the product. That's the best way to do it. Have all 4 women where you don't know. Those are the best pay-per-views where you just don't know who's going to win. And then, maybe you open, not the greatest, but like maybe you open with a triple threat at Survivor Series with Randy. You get the pop of Randy, the pop of Cody, and, KO's heel pop of all he's done. I could totally see that happening.
Now, is this the beginning, you think, of KO's last run with WWE? Because his contract's coming up.
So,
I'm sorry, I'd like to add to this. Not only is his contract coming up, but there's a bunch of TNA talent whose contracts are also up around the same time that I know WWE would like to bring over, like Jordan Grace as one of them, Josh Alexander as another.
So I love, and thank you for mentioning that, because I thought about this the other day. I don't know what I was watching or why I was thinking about this, but like not American Made. Got it right. American Made. I could totally, like, we thought about like them having like an enforcer, so to speak. And not that he is, but he could be, because when you look at, I think, very similar, not a friend of theirs, but a friend of ours from the Jericho Cruise, Jake Hager, right? Jack Swagger. He was the enforcer for Jericho. He was the bodyguard. I think he's a similar size and build than Alexander, right? So could Alexander be another addition that they signed to that American Made group? Because I would love him in that group. To your point, though, but to go back to your point about like the signing stuff, like I think KO is re-signing 100%. I do think, and I don't think, you make good points with Jordan Grace and Josh Alexander, like being big talents that they might go after. I don't think that prohibits a KO contract, which is going to be big, much bigger than what they would get, would prohibit them from signing those talents, because those talents they see a bigger future in as well. and I think it totally could move on.
Right, but does KO want to stay? Does he think maybe? I mean, this has been my point. Does he think he's done all he can do here, and it's just a case of, I've only got a certain amount of time left in my career. What do I want to go do now? Do I want to go to the store across the street, as I keep referring to them, and go play with his friends like Edge did with Christian? And
I don't think so. I think he kind of has like AJ Styles has the same mentality. He's like, I'm going to retire in WWE. This is where I'm done. I think KO might have the same mentality. I just feel like as much as he's been like this heely facey thing, I think he's very much sort of a
He main evented WrestleMania. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, he main evented with his favorite wrestler of all time. Like I think he's very much a WWE guy. I really do.
Yeah, I think you might as well.
If you listen to like the sheet, basically it's like a handshake deal. That basically he's saying he just has to put pen to paper, and I think they're not going to come out and say that he signed, because it kind of bleeds into like, oh, KO could be leaving. He's beating up Cody Rhodes in the back. He's saying, I sent a video. They're not playing it. It's kind of this guerrilla kind of warfare sort of thing, like Willy Wonky, I guess, like. Not like AEW was like the bidding war, blah blah blah, and then I think maybe this is their approach to it. Like KO's kind of going a little rogue, so it's like, will he, won't he? But he really is gonna stay.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Steve, last shot before we let you go.
10-6 now, by the way.
Oh God,
They're catching it after having been down 10-2.
is it still the fifth inning?
I think they're top of the sixth now.
Yeah.
They took it off the screen. Oh, there it is. Yeah, top of the sixth, 1 out. And also tonight, looking forward to, assuming this ends in time, because now I actually have something to watch here. The debut of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah,
Right. That is tonight.
Yeah.
Good point. Motor City Machine Guns debuting on SmackDown. Steve, always keeping us.
Is it just because the vignette said today, or nothing's planned, right? It's just the vignette is saying tonight.
I think they're the quote unquote opponent for. They hinted at it last week. The opponent for. I can't remember those two guys' names. Angel and Humberto.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the cousins.
Yeah, Tommaso in that segment even did. You had to, if you blinked, you missed it. But he even did the Michigan hand symbol thing that MCMG always does.
Is it I don't.
Yep, that's it.
It's one of those. Depending on how I'm nearer to you, so it's one of these. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Point to the men.
It's close enough.
Decent enough. Well put. Looking forward to it. Steven, pleasure as always. You sir.
Nighty night.
Cut off. Go Mets. Had to get that one in before. Let's go Mets. Let's hang on and just keep the season rolling. 10-6. Just hang on. Hold on, loosely. Just hang on. Hold on, loosely. Should I do it?
But don't let
Let's
go.
just hold the line. Just hold the line.
Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Oh, oh, oh. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Oh, oh, oh.
Love isn't always on time. It's almost never on time.
Your music every time gets me.
Everybody's iconic. They'll be there tonight. They just posted versus a triple threat.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well,
What's Timu Toto? I don't get that.
you know how it's like, oh, it's like the Wish, blah blah blah. Like Timu is kind of like the same thing now.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh God.
I don't know. I'm out of touch.
The memes, Steven, I got your saying.
All right, fair enough.
Nick's
Well,
little old man.
that being said, we got another fish on the line, hook on the line. regular on the line, we're going to call it, friend of the show. Let's bring him in. He's close. Haven't done it yet. Gonna have an entrance soon. Soon it's coming. We don't know what it's gonna be, and you don't know. You don't want to know because you just never know what's gonna happen. But let's bring him in. Friend of the show, Iconic Wrestling Podcast. Our friend Mikey. Mikey,
Hi guys.
welcome in. Welcome back. What are you drinking? What are you thinking, buddy?
So I am currently chugging the mango chainsaw flavor of Liquid Death, my favorite flavored water, sparkling water series that we got up and down in here in California. So I'm super excited. And you know what I am thinking is, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but AEW has the potential to enter probably a very strong story arc with everything going on. But I do not have the confidence in them given with what we've been given from the past, because I don't want AEW to mess this up with this whole Switchblade conspiracy versus Team AEW in some capacity. And, you know, I have a theory of where I would like to see this go. I don't know if it will go down there, but, you know, we could chat about it a little bit.
So, yeah, let's hear it, Mikey. So you're talking about the BCC stuff, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so what is your theory on this?
So here's my theory on this. So obviously Mox and company are about to run roughshod over, you know, AEW, probably mostly over on Dynamite, but you know, who knows? This can go everywhere, anywhere, whatever we want to see it. So this stems from when we were doing our live review of WrestleDream earlier in the week, we had one of our regulars pop in, and he made a very fair comparison because we were talking about how, me personally, I was still on the fence of how, Danielson retired, so to speak. You know, Danielson did state that he wanted Mox to be the person to retire him, which, you know, good on Tony Khan for actually listening to a wrestler and what they want when they retire, because sometimes that doesn't always get to be the case. But I was still on the fence about it because I was like, of everybody, I was still kind of salty because Darby wins the right to face Danielson at WrestleDream, loses the championship match at Grand Slam against Moxley. And then I wasn't too big on the idea that Mox was going to be the one to retire him. But this, regular of ours stated that, Mox is treating this as you would like any, thing. And the comparison he made was like somebody who, like, he was comparing this to like a virus or an illness. Danielson continued to find himself hurt, needing to not be in the ring so much. And Mox ended up becoming the evil in order to stop Danielson from continuing to hurt himself and, potentially could ruin everything. So he became the villain of the story, so to speak, to stop Danielson from being his own worst enemy in a way. I was like, okay, I could kind of see this.
Mercy kill is what you're like.
Exactly. Mercy kill. I was just like, that's a fair assessment. And I'm kind of here for that. But where I think this is going and where I hope it is because right now with Danielson being retired, well, at least full-time, I don't know. They keep changing the verbiage back and forth. He's gone forever. His full-time is done. We'll see what happens. I don't think Danielson's completely done, but his full-time career is definitely over for sure after WrestleDream. But what I think is going to happen is that Mox is going to hold on to this thing until, I think as early as Revolution or as late as Double or Nothing. But I think what's going to happen is we're going to start to see Mox and crew be feuding with the conglomeration, because if we paid attention to WrestleDream, there were two people in that ending shot, Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. So I think the conglomeration is going to go up against, Switchblade Conspiracy, which is what Mox is trademarking this group's name or whatever, allegedly. So, but here's where I think things go off the rails, because I think that they're going to try, and then this also lends credence. If you're not going to do anything or give her another, championship storyline, Willow technically is part of the conglomeration. So Willow and Marina Shafir can go at it, which I would love to see. But what I think is going to happen is that they're going to go at it, but conglomeration is eventually going to be at the losing end because we get a Kyle O'Reilly turn.
Wow. That's an interesting.
I do like him healing.
Here's where this is what I'm thinking, because right now Outside of Rocky Romero, who is still new to the group, between Mark, Orange, Willow, and Kyle, anytime we have a tag team or a trios match with conglomeration, Kyle is always the one that ends up getting pinned or ends up losing for the team. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is eventually we're going to continue to see Kyle get these on a losing streak. He's going to turn on conglomeration, but specifically against Mark Briscoe, which what I'm hoping leads into Kyle taking the ROH title from Briscoe. And Orange will try to go up to Mox, no avail, because Mox and Orange have history. All Out last year is when Mox took the title from Orange, ending his massive run with the International Championship. And then once the conglomeration has to sort itself out, there's only one person left from that 2-person shot at the end of WrestleDream who is going to dethrone. I think Darby is actually going to be the one to dethrone Mox after conglomeration fails and has their own little breakup. And honestly, I think we're going to start to see Darby turn into the Crow version of Sting. He is going to become
100%.
this version of Sting.
Oh my gosh.
Darby is the only choice that makes a lot of sense right now. So that's what I hope happens. And I don't want AEW to mess this up because their storylines are always hit and miss, mostly misses, but there has potential to be gold mine here.
So thank you, Mikey. I'm doing it again. You get the standing ovation because that's exactly what I was saying. Like, keep Darby away from all this garbage. Like, keep him away for like 6 months and let him be the Sting character that you want him to be, while these guys won roughshod over the whole company, and just let him sit back. And to your point, yeah, like if it's interesting thought of like Kyle O'Reilly. I think Kyle O'Reilly could get involved, to be honest, in the MJF thing. He could be the guy that is the hired assassin. Like I'd like to see MJF turn. He's going to turn at least one person against Adam Cole. Who is it? Is it Bennett? Is it Taven? It'd be really crazy. I wonder if the rumors are true. If Britt Baker turned on him, how crazy would that be?
No, that's
To put that,
not
I know it, but sometimes real life goes in the storylines, and you know what? Like Tony loves that shit. He eats it up. I would not put it past him. And to be honest, it would create a buzz. So like something like that. Like we thought she was going to be the devil at one point in time, which would have been great. You and I talked about that. Maybe Nikki's looking at me weird, but like I thought she could have been the devil. Yeah, 100%. I thought that would have been maybe just as good, if not better, than Adam Cole. Well, now hindsight probably was better.
That story is still a whole mess. It's been way too long. I'm not invested. I don't care. I think they did a smart job of having Adam Cole come out on Dynamite to explain why he is now a face all of a sudden. But listen, you can't fool me, AEW. I remember everything that went down with the devil reveal, the whole mess that was the Undisputed Kingdom, our Vanilla Gorilla Wardlow, as they have called him. Like,
Vanilla Gorilla War.
that is a term we have coined, but the internet has also coined it. He is the Vanilla Gorilla. Like, that is exactly what it is.
So you bring up a good point. So I was at the Dynamite after the reveal where he cut the promo, and it was just like I thought it was a pretty good promo. Like he made logical sense. Like we all knew it was coming, but the devil promo that he cut was great. He was like, listen, like you're a terrible human being. Like everyone knew this was going to happen, and I just beat you to the punch, and that made the most sense. And now we reverse this to where MJF's a heel who got treated like a babyface, and you want to see him get his comeuppance on Cole, and like if he feels, I guess like we said earlier, like does he feel justified that a kick in the balls ends that feud? Okay. And now you're like, no, I'm not going to fight you because you want to fight me after you cost me the world title and basically cost me my closest friendship in wrestling. It doesn't make sense. It reeks every bit of this is the only built-in storyline that I have in the last year or two. So I'm going to throw this together because the next I was going to say PLE, but PPV that we have, this could be considered a main event match.
I don't want to be like the AEW warrior of this group. I'm not. But I just want to think back to like Kenny Hangman was so good, and then like Hangman Swerve is good, and I just want to. But maybe I'm naive. I'm just rooting, but I want them to be able to do something good, and I'm hoping that with what they're doing with the BC, or you said Switchblade Conspiracy, then what are they doing with
Jay White.
Jay White, or he's not Switchblade no more. Like,
I'd be so
dueling
upset.
Switchblade, or is he gonna get gobbled up? But like,
Jay White got a win on a pay-per-view, so he should be
I
happy.
know. I never liked him until we started.
So, I mean, I'm not exactly a legal expert, but from my understanding, I think Mox could get away with it because it's not infringing upon Jay White's like the Switchblade moniker. And I don't know if Jay White has full like intellectual property rights when it comes like that. Now, there's one added twist to this whole storyline that we kind of prophesized a little bit, and I would love for this to happen. So Mox has been stating this whole entire time, and we have been speculating that there's somebody pulling their strings in the shadows, right? I know a lot of the internet thinks that it's a certain Mr. Shane McMahon, which for all intents and purposes, we don't have enough time to get into. That's not the case. However, I give credit to my co-host, Adolfo, who gave this idea life, and I want it to be so true because I think it'd be a mastermind. So, because as we saw at the end of WrestleDream, Mox had Claudio put that thing in a duffel bag to like they're gonna drop it off somewhere, someone, right? Now, who has also been in proximity or has been shown on screen with the BCC? What if it turns out that the person pulling the strings of Moxley and crew happens to be the person who has a guaranteed championship match still? Yeah. It is evil turtleneck himself, Christian Cage. Christian Cage pulling the strings. Because remember, every time Christian came down to try to cash in on Danielson, BCC and crew were there to stop him. But notice that they did not throw hands. They did not interact. Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne didn't try to overthrow BCC. Christian's like, all right, we'll back off. Christian Cage could easily come in. He has paid Mox to do this job. Mox can give the title to, Christian Cage. Christian Cage uses his championship clause, and that is the equivalent exchange thing they got going on. So Christian might be pulling the string.
But then why hasn't he done it yet though? So I can't. It's an interesting theory. Yeah, but he could have done it at any point in time. He could have cashed in. So if you had this whole group the whole way that was doing your bidding,
you gotta slow jam that. So like that Gio was like, oh, it's weird that he made invented Dynamite against Jay, but he beat Jay, and Jay just beat Adam at Hangman Page. So it's weird that. Oh, now I got my tempo hat going now.
It's an interesting theory. But to me, if the reveal is Christian Cage, I'd be upset.
That's such a fuck you to Vince. I'm sorry. Because how much he hated Christian and wanted to shave his head and put a blue dot on his face. Everything. Oh, that's such a fuck you to Vince. I love it. I want that now.
But I don't get. Then why would you Then what would you need? I don't know. What would you need? Then why? All right, here's my point. If Christian's a higher power, right? And he can use his contract to cash in to win the belt whenever he wants, right? In theory, because if Mox is doing his bidding for him to win the belt, then why didn't he do it at WrestleDream?
That is also very true as well.
See,
so here's the thing, though, and I think, and I'm not blanketing anybody. I'm not blanketing in general. This is just how I feel, and this is my own perspective when it comes to this kind of stuff. I think the problem as wrestling fans in general, at least within maybe the last 3 or 4 years or so, and I can only speak from my experience, I have seen with my own 2 eyes in the realm of, wrestling people that I interact with, I've noticed that the art of slow burn storytelling is very rare and far and few in between. We will get feuds that last for 2 or 3 months, but slow burns aren't necessarily a thing anymore. And so regardless of whether it is Christian Cage or if it's not, again, if we just slowly pan this out, because AEW's biggest problem is that every time where I think we're going to get a slow burn, by the end of the 2-3 month period, we have its climax. I'm not revisiting Team AEW versus the EVP in the Elite in, leaning into Blood and Guts this year. Because I'm like, we could have lasted this. You shoehorned that thing in like 5 weeks. Like, that was not great.
Agreed.
It's
So-
fair. It's a fair point, but I mean, to some extent, like even like as we talked about earlier, like the Devil storyline, I think that was played relatively right to the reveal. Like they let that go out as long as it needed to. I think there's some storylines that he's done really like the Mariah May, Tony Storm, like pairing them together and having that build was
Yeah,
really nice,
sure.
and we saw that. Like there are
Mhm.
times where it's played out right, and maybe going back to obviously the beginning of the show with Nikki's News, like maybe it is a change in the guard with the actual like writing group that
Right.
changed something within everything. Like maybe Jimmy Jacobson having multiple chefs in the pot, so to speak,
Right.
or more individualized, specialized people will get the women's division up, or the TNT belt, and Mercedes Moné, whatever the hell she's doing there.
Right. And you bring up Tony and Mariah too. I also wondered too, because we have people backstage who are doing the writing and booking these. I also wonder, especially when it comes to Tony and Mariah themselves, I wonder how much individual hands that those two had when it came to crafting the story as well. Because I think the success of it also has to do with how much involved Mariah and Tony were involved in their own making. Like, I love this character for Tony. I don't care what nobody says. I wholeheartedly believe this was her idea she came up with, and AEW let her run with it, and then they helped her kind of fine tune it to certain aspects. But the reason I've loved this version of Tony and she's in the Renaissance for me is the fact that I feel that she's had so much control over how she presents the character and just let her do whatever they want, which, I think also kind of plays in a part in what I view as a good story. I was like, does the story beats make sense? But also, how much control did the actual people participating in the story get a chance and have a say? Because you could definitely tell when you have a storyline with people who have no say in which direction we're going. And of course, using Toni Storm, she went from being pied in the face from Charlotte Flair all the way to now being here and being ranked number 1 on the PWI Women's 250 list this year.
Oh, that was like that meme was all over social media, and I was like, yeah.
That destroyed me as a Toni Storm fan. It's so bad.
I was so upset, like so excited for her to come over, and then she finally her run in NXT UK, NXT, and then to come up, and like Charlotte just treated her like shit. And I was like, no, but you're Toni Storm. Like, no, what's happening? And so when she finally left, I was like, yes. And then like she was doing whatever in AEW, and then this timeless thing, like when her like the flip just switched, you were just like, I was so enamored. I'm glad. I love the run, and I think her losing to Mariah made sense, and I love her being off TV for a little bit. But like that is such like I don't like that's why I want to be so hopeful, because when like AEW does it right, it's so beautiful.
Right.
So I'm rooting for them, and then like again, like we were talking, I probably didn't hear earlier, but we were talking about like with Jimmy Jacobs leaving, and then like RJ City doing kind of the lead for the Mariah May, Toni Storm stuff, and he's also doing the lead for this BCC Switch Gunblade conspiracy stuff. Like it's the partnerships. I think like again, Tony had such a vision, and I think RJ kind of had like the cinema about it, and I think that's the same what he's doing with Mox. Like Mox can cut a promo to a wall, and I think that RJ brings this like, oh, we're gonna jump in the back of the truck, and you're gonna run out the building, and hop in this truck, and you're gonna cut this promo, and I think he brings that little more cinema to it. But then the actual wrestlers, the characters, bring their own personality, and that's why I'm hoping these things work, and I'm hoping that these long-term storytelling. I'm sorry, my speech is
Sound it out.
But I want to be hopeful for things to come for AEW.
So yeah, no, well put. So Mikey, we talk about partnerships, and we appreciate partnerships. So, as a partner of the show, before we leave you with your last shot, let us know where everyone can find you. I know you're going to be broadcasting relatively soon here, so let's.
I appreciate it. So we will be going live in about 15 minutes or so with this week's Ring of Honor review. But yeah, before I give my final thoughts and everything, I also want to give flowers to both of you because I have such a great time being on here, and you guys do so good at what you guys have here at the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. And I am truly grateful and blessed that we made the connection that we did back in New Jersey back in May at the Wrestle Show convention. And it's been a really fun journey, and you guys are doing an amazing job here as well. So I wanted to give flowers to both of you because look, it is a very competitive space in the wrestling review game out here. And I feel that we are all doing our thing to try to be the best versions of what we putting out into the world. But I also think it's important to also build each other up along the way. And that's how you make the connections, and that's how you uplift everyone. And you know what? For me, I view it as is like the more people that we have connections with and good-minded folks and individuals, I think that's what's going to make the wrestling review a lot better. We can still be competitive with all of this, but I want to make friends rather than enemies. So you two do a very good job, and I don't think you guys get the thanks and the flowers that you deserve. So I'm going to be that person who's going to give it to you. So,
well, cheers to that, and Mikey, well put, sir. Always appreciated. And on that note, I know you're coming back relatively soon. What, 8:00 with Ring of Honor?
Yep.
So we got more wrestling. If you want to tune in to Mikey's show, talk about Ring of Honor, have a blast. Mikey, always a pleasure.
Sure.
We will catch you next time, sir. You, sir, just like everyone else at the bar, is cut off.
Pickle. Like I don't like I know like we say this about actual wrestling competitions. Like we talk about WWE, we talk about AEW, we talk about TNA, we talk about NXT, we talk about whatever we can. Like we love pro wrestling, and having competition, having people talk about it raises all people. Mm-hmm. And I think having people like Mikey, having Professor, having all the other people that come on, like it should be a community. Like we do our thing is different than what Mikey does and what Professor does and what Wrestle Talk does. Like we're all different. Yeah. We need to support each other, support wrestling, support each other, be kind to each other. That is my woosah.
Be good to yourselves and each other.
Oh,
Jerry Springer.
Yes.
We did a Jerry Springer thing, and I'm gonna do
I don't know. There's so much gross stuff, and again, if you're in the U.S., there's a lot of gross stuff, and people helping people. Bring it back to writing crafters. People helping people. People helping people.
But no, we're all a community here. We all love professional wrestling. Some people want it most of us want it differently than the person next to us. I know I do. I like wrestling differently than Nikki does. We disagree on a lot. But at the end of the day, every Friday at 6, we come in here and we talk about everything that happened and what we want to see, what we hope to see, what we liked, what we didn't like, and we hope you join us.
Please
we
do.
hope you hit the old like and subscribe along the way.
Yeah.
Since it's been a little bit of a bloodline-oriented one, we hope you hit the old Samoan spike on the like button. Ah! Been a while since we hit that one.
I know.
Well, I sincerely hope that next week being our very, very special week, as we talk about next week being as we go to our Nick or Treat Halloween special next week. We hope you all join us. We're talking about everything Halloween related, wrestling related, in our little Dark Order faction.
Ever.
I know. Who'd have thunk that we got all those characters in the same photo? Like, no idea that all these people would have joined us for this special occasion. And we're just so humbled that The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, Mankind, Mick Foley, the Boogeyman, Papa Shango put his paint on. Kane took time away from being a mayor to put the old costume back on, and we're so proud of him.
Steven's family photo.
It's the greatest. And Steven, yes, there will also be Nicksgiving.
Oh God, Steven!
And I apologize, Michelle joined our show. Michelle, old Yellerdom, she was talking about the Daniel Bryan situation. So Michelle, thank you for joining us. Sorry, in reading in a timely fashion. We're still getting used to all this stuff. But yes, it's been, there will be, and to go back to Steve's point, there will, well, I don't know, maybe it's Nicksgiving. I don't know.
Well, there's also the Go Home Show to Survivor Series, and you're gonna make me get a Christmas tree the same day.
I know, it's gonna be great. The Halloween, I hope you all enjoy the holidays as much as me, because this is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna have a blast. But regardless, just to remind you, next Friday again is the Nick or Treat Halloween special. If you need a little bit extra incentive to go, how about here's a little music. The Nick or Treat special. We're back next Friday at 6.
I might wear
Oh,
a.
yeah,
Maybe wear the thing.
I know, you have to find one. Witch hat.
Okay.
It'll be a witch hunt in your witch hat. Next Friday, October 25th, 6 p.m. Eastern. We are back. But Nikki, we are 9 minutes now.
I know.
8 minutes, really.
You gotta take yourself out. You gotta take your dog out. You gotta get a snack. You gotta refill your beverage. Let's go.
But this has been a fun one. We always appreciate you joining us on these Friday nights as we lean into SmackDown and have a good time talking wrestling. So, in the only way that we know how, because we're not eloquent with our words, but our not so CCO is. He's done it for years. Triple H, take us out.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed. You know, banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
We were able to do that yet again. It's like a month without incident-ish, something like that. So proud that we were able to do that. But that being said, we appreciate you joining us. We will see you next week with the Nick or Treat Halloween special. But until then, get your snack, get everything ready. You do not have to go home.
But you can stay here. Bye.